Good luck, chefs. May the forks be with you. And Warwick, these puns are inspired by you and your illustrious career, but mainly Star Wars. So here we go. Chefs, can you add extras to your omelettes, but don't potter about because life's too short? Will Ryan's omelette be a rogue one? Or will Liam be a Phantom Menace and strike back? With a winning time. Good luck, chefs. May the forks be with you. That's why you watch. That's why you watch. Will Warwick get his food heaven, beef and blue cheese cobbler, or his food hell, fish pie with hard-boiled eggs? Still tarts for you to vote on the website and find out the results later on. Right. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you're not too stuffed after Christmas because we've got a show full of delicious treats, top chefs and a brilliant guest. I'm Matt Tebbutt and this is our very first Saturday Kitchen Live of 2018. Welcome to the show. Now, cooking with me today are three outstanding chefs, Liam and Ryan Simpson-Trotman, and the brilliant Anna HAUGH, and in charge of the wine, it's the always bubbly Ollie Smith. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Liam and Ryan, lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
First time on the show, our first married couple cooking together on the show.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't cause too many problems.
And also, you're sustainable. The restaurant is sustainable,
so the
not your marriage.
Sustainable, yeah.
Just make that quite clear.
Stable.
Your restaurant is called
it's sustainable as well, yeah.
In Oxfordshire, and it's sustainable, and you've got your own plot of land and what have you, haven't you?
Yeah. So we grow our own vegetables, keep our own bees as well, so it's quite nice.
Nice.
A lot of nose-to-tail cooking.
Okay. And what can we expect from you today?
Duck on crumpets.
Which is a bit vague.
Well, that's what we tell everybody.
To be honest.
That's what we tell everybody. That's what we're
yeah. But tell us a little bit more about this dish. I mean, it looks beautiful.
So basically, it's duck hearts on crumpets with a little bit of burnt cheese, a bit of cured duck, finished with a bit of iceberg.
Okay, so it's like every little piece of the duck. And there's also a grated duck jerky
little
over the
duck
top.
Heart jerky on top, yeah.
Okay, intriguing. Look out for that later. And Anna.
Ah, Matt.
Lovely to have you here. Now, you're doing something a little bit different as well.
I am. Well, it's something very different for me. It's a vegan dish. It's chocolate and tofu mousse with a vegan honeycomb, and it is delicious.
And it is delicious.
It is delicious. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah. No, I was a little bit blown away about it earlier.
Just
is
a
this
little
kind
bit.
of a new approach?
Just a little bit.
No, okay,
this is how
quite
we're
a lot.
start.
Is that worth getting up
okay. Good to know.
I was just a little bit blown away. Is that a new approach for you?
No, it was actually for a friend of mine that I kind of did it, and I thought, well, maybe this should be shared.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Nice. Ollie.
Hello, good morning.
Lovely to have you. You've been drinking beer in Belgium,
I have, yeah. I've been filming in Belgium this week. I've been staying in a monastery, a Grimbergen Abbey, where they brew their own beer. Right. Father Carell was always very, very attentive and good fun to drink with.
Should we go
and
on
then
with
a concierge with sour beers. We had a wonderful time. We'll move on. Fine.
Attentive monks. And we've been nosing around the BBC archives for classic foodie moments from Rick Stein, Keith Floyd, the Hairy Bikers, and Mary Berry. Now, this is very exciting. Our special guest today is a much-loved actor who starred in the highest-grossing film of 2017, and it was only out for 3 weeks, and it was, of course, Star Wars, as well as Harry Potter and countless comedies, including Extras and Idiot Abroad, Life's Too Short, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So we're delighted that he's voyaged all the way to the studio this morning. It's the brilliant Warwick Davis. Warwick. Great to have you here.
Good to be here.
I mean, I could sit down and bang on about Star Wars all day, but I won't because you're here to talk about Eugenius.
Indeed, yes.
A new West End show you're producing.
It's a brand new musical I'm producing, absolutely. A bit of a different role for me, you know, not being on the stage, but I'm enjoying it immensely.
Good.
Getting my head around the figures and the creative side of things.
Yeah. And is that quite a sort of difficult discipline to get into?
It is a bit, because as a producer, you have to really make compromises because you're trying to save money, you know. But for me, I can't help but spend the money because I want the show to be the very best it can be.
I mean, that must be quite tricky. It's a bit like sort of running a restaurant. You want the best food and put everything on the plate, and yet the accountants come in.
Exactly.
Or your other half. I don't know which one that would be, and just tells you off. So you've got to kind of juggle both.
I've got to juggle both things, sort of try and get the best looking show I can, but also not go over budget on it.
Yeah. And musicals, is that a thing of yours?
Well, I love musicals. You know, I grew up watching musicals, and Starlight Express was a particular favourite of mine.
Yeah, I remember going to see that.
I used to put roller skates on, actually, and skate around my parents' garage in the evenings and recreate the show.
Really? We should have brought our skates.
With the soundtrack playing in the background.
I had an amazing pair of Bowers.
Did you?
Do you remember
Bowers
those?
as well.
Did you
put leg warmers on them as well?
No, because I look like Leroy from Fame.
Well, that's what you should have done. You obviously weren't the coolest of kids, were you? Unlike me.
No, I used to love my Bowers. I think my parents gave them away. Anyway, listen, let's not talk about roller skates. So, your food. You're quite adventurous with your food?
I'm becoming more adventurous as I get older. I like good sort of British comfort foods, that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
The kind of chickens, roast dinners, stews, casseroles, that sort of thing.
And would that be your food heaven, would you say?
Yeah, it would be, yeah. Something kind of in a kind of stewy kind of area. I made a beef stew the other day, actually. I had some steak left over from Christmas. Not sure whether I should have used this really good steak. No. But I sort of... I put it in a stew, but get this, I put it in a stew, had a load of vegetables left over, all this sort of thing. Because that's what stews are, they're about leftovers, aren't they, really? You kind of make something happen. And I looked at a recipe, and it required some tomato puree, which I didn't have in the cupboards, you see, and some Worcestershire sauce. So I put in, and the family don't know this, but they loved it, I put in some ketchup instead of the puree. Okay. And Tabasco sauce instead of the... Is that okay?
Was that good?
It was amazing.
I mean, ketchup's used a lot.
They loved it.
It's very sweet.
I didn't tell them. And
but you could probably balance that with the Tabasco.
I did some balancing.
Did you balance?
With the Tabasco. Yeah. And it was actually, I didn't have a full bottle. It was one of those little ones you get in hotels or restaurants. I stole it.
Okay.
I do it.
Do you want to tell us where?
I don't remember. It's tiny, and I keep it in a cupboard.
Look down the camera, Warwick.
You need that. I don't know. But anyway, I bought the ketchup, though.
Right.
It wasn't one of them little ones you go... I walk out of a restaurant like rattling.
You can. You're massively famous. Nobody's going to stop you.
Imagine that in the papers.
What about food hell?
Food hell for me, anything to do with fish, really. Fishy fish. I don't mind going to a fish and chip shop and having a nice bit of cod in batter, but kind of oily fish. Fish pies at school were a nightmare because, I mean, I don't think you know what's in a fish pie, do you? You could bung anything in, you lot.
Got an idea.
You could chuck in the heads and everything and the leg. Well, not legs, but... I mean,
all those fish legs.
What sort of fish is that? But you put it all in there and nobody would ever know. Yeah. And that's what my school fish... They were kind of almost...
It was like a dustbin.
A ready tinge to them as well. I don't know what all that was. But so something to do with that. Just smelly eggs, coriander. Ooh, anything...
Right. I didn't get that memo, so there's no coriander in it. Right, OK, so listen, if the viewers go for heaven, I'm going to make a shin of beef stew with a blue cheese cobbler, OK? OK. Familiar with cobblers?
I sort of like a crumbly, but savoury.
It's like a savoury scones. There, look at the screen. So I'm going to sear the beef shin and add butter, pancetta, onions, celery and herbs, and then going to pour over some beer and cook it until it's really, really soft and make some Stilton time scones, if you will.
Lovely.
To put on top, carry on cooking those, finish with a bit of parsley. Delicious. But obviously, if Warwick gets hell, they're going to make a fish pie. And they're going to hide hard-boiled eggs.
What?
And oily fish and all sorts of things in it.
What are you doing? Why are you hiding hard-boiled eggs in it?
Because you don't like hard-boiled eggs.
But then don't just stick anything in I don't like.
I'm not. It's traditional.
That's traditional. Seriously.
Yes. It's a form of protein. It's kind of a filler, I think.
It's horrendous. Well, that's what.
Look at that. It looks delicious. Look at that. Anyway, I'll tell you what's in it. So I'm going to make a roux, and I'm going to add anchovies, because you don't like those. Some poached haddock, some salmon, some prawns, some scallops. And stick it all in a pie dish, scatter over chopped hard-boiled eggs, and then top with mash, and then grate some Edam cheese over it. Because you got really down on Edam.
I don't like Edam. It's very bland, isn't it?
It was the world's most favourite cheese at one time.
I
could bore you senseless about Edam. Anyway, you're going to have to wait to the end of the show to find out which one you're going to get.
It sounds disgusting.
It's not disgusting.
It's like a fishing trawler just crashed into a bag of potatoes and a whole load of eggs were there.
It's like a perfect marriage. Anyway, so everyone just go to the Saturday Kitchen website before 11 a.m. this morning and get voting. And we also want you to ask anything you want by dialing 0330 123 1410. That's 0330 123 1410. So get dialing now. And as always, you can comment on what's cooking via social media. OK, you ready for this?
I don't know what I'm ready for, but I'm ready.
We'll fill you in. Right, let's get cooking. Come this way, boys. Nice to have you here. So what is this dish? This is the duck dish.
Yeah, so duck hearts on crumpets. Duck different ways. Yeah. Got some lovely ducks here.
Yeah, so I'll move this over.
So we're just going to trim these up, but before we start this, the most important thing is the crumpet.
OK.
The old British favourite crumpet. Yeah. So to make the crumpet, what we're going to do is take some flour and add a little bit of water.
And these are pretty simple to make, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, very simple. A lot of people see it in the shop and maybe think, oh, that's a little bit difficult, but no, it's dead easy.
Well, I made some myself the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it took a couple of attempts, but it's a slow cook thing.
It is. It takes about 6 to 8 minutes to do properly. So all we do is just mix all the ingredients together, which is the yeast, sugar, flour, and we let it rest for a minute or so, and then we'll grab it and sort of add a little bit of baking bicarb to it.
Right.
So add a little bit of bicarb.
And that's going to give you those nice bubbles. And
it's going to reactivate it. So you're going to get them bubbles coming through. Yeah. A little bit of water.
So tell us about Orwell's then.
Well, Liam.
So Orwell's, yes, so it's our little baby. We've been there for now 8 years. So we started in 2010. So yeah, it's just an old country pub, middle of the Oxfordshire countryside. It's just myself, Ryan, about 5 other members of staff, our 2 beagles, Remy and Truffle, and we just...
Remy and Truffle?
Yeah, we absolutely... Obviously named after brandy, named after a famous mushroom.
Okay.
So it's quite good. So we grow our own produce. We've got a little a small holding. We've had for 5 years. We've been keeping bees for 4 years.
You keep bees?
Yeah, we do.
Ollie keeps bees.
I love the bees.
Nice.
I love the bees. Have you named all the bees in your hive?
I do. I name every bee, just the one. I name every queen bee Beyonce. So it's Beyonce and the bees. And I've got 5 hives, so I've got 5 bees. So it's quite nice.
That's quite full on, 5 hives.
Yeah, I mean, when you find a job, that's a hobby. It's great. It's easy for us. So we're quite happy. So we grow the produce. We live off the land. We do sustainable foraging as well, which is quite nice.
Because I looked at beekeeping once, and Ollie put me off. He said they're not pets.
No.
They need constant attention.
They do. You do need to inspect them every week. You need to kind of guide them along. But as I've been keeping bees, I've realised it's not so much kind of guiding them as you're a member of the hive. You've got to kind of react and be not intervene.
Really immersive.
It's very, very
like
relaxing.
A bee.
Think like a bee. Well, they're very good people. They go out and do good things in the world.
Basically,
pollinate, make honey.
Yeah,
you're a good landlord.
It's not really like a pet.
You can't
cuddle a bee.
You can't cuddle a bee. It's true.
Ollie, when you say you guide the bee, what do you take it to a flower and say, look, do your business?
Do that.
I think one of the most important
and I'm dressed as a bee.
Do you dress as a comedy bee?
No, I've never done that. But for you, Matt Tebbutt, I would dress as a comedy bee. I would do that.
It's quite funny because as soon as you said you're a beekeeper, the first people say is like, do you wear all the stuff? Do you wear all the gear? It's like, of course.
Yeah, I look like a Teletubby. It's marvellous.
I think one of the most important things is obviously to look after them in the winter months, isn't it? Because they tend to have no forage at all.
Yeah, so you really look after them, make sure they've got enough food, otherwise, obviously, they do die off in the winter.
On a serious note, they need as much help as they can get at the moment as well, don't they?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, with their decline, obviously, the natural resources or the wildflower meadows disappeared after the war.
And presumably you use the honey, right?
Yeah, we do. So
100%.
I've not bought honey for the restaurant for 5 years now.
Really?
And it's amazing.
Does it make that money?
Yeah, I mean, I think after the first successful year, I made about £120 of honey.
Wow.
And that's not me, that's the bees. I'm just the landlord, I'm just tending them.
And do you sell it from the restaurant?
Yeah, we do. We sell it and we work with certain people and we do certain things.
Put it in cocktails.
Really?
Put it in cocktails, yeah.
Very
do
nice.
a cracking gin cocktail with it. A little bit of honey in there. Absolutely stunning. So, crumpet.
Yep.
Bubbles are starting to come up. That's what we want. So at that point, we're going to flip it over.
Over real low heat.
Really, really low heat, so you can see these lovely bubbles coming up.
Yeah.
OK, so just pop that to one side.
OK.
And here's...
And this will take about sort of 6, 7 minutes.
That'll take about 6 to 8 minutes, yeah. Sure. So we're just going to warm this back through now.
OK.
The one that we've just turned.
But you could do that stuff in advance.
Yeah,
100%.
You can buy shop bought, or you can spend a fun morning with the kids on a weekend, make a load up, the goods are freeze, so it's absolutely great to keep.
And a good way to finish them, what we like to do, is add a little bit of butter and a little bit of yeast extract. So you can get this always at the supermarket.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stunning because what it does, it gives this thing called umami. Yeah. Which is actually... I
mean, that's all I have on my crumpets anyway.
Yeah, it's just a savoury taste. But if you do just a tiny bit of it and not too much, you get this lovely sort of like richness coming along.
Do you want to put it in the pan?
Yeah. I was going to put it in my mouth there.
So Marcus Waring came on some time ago and he made crumpets and they went down a storm, so we're expecting this to...
Well, this dish is a bit of a homage to a friend of ours. We always just have duck hearts on toast. Yeah. It's just so comforting when you're eating that kind of food. So at the restaurant, we just try to refine that.
It's very French, isn't it, duck heart thing? I mean, I've had them in Toulouse, where they're big into their ducks.
Yeah, Toulouse, the south of France, is amazing for that sort of thing. Like the Dordogne region and all that sort of thing.
And you trained in France, didn't you?
I did train in France, yeah. Trained with some fantastic chefs. And, you pick up all these little techniques, which is amazing. Really.
And I mean, is that what you do now? Because it's... I mean, the chefs that you work for, I mean, they are top-flight, 3-star boys.
Yeah.
Intricate food. Do you just sort of take little pieces from everyone?
Yeah, I think the way that the food's going now, isn't it? It's kind of like a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
But there's still that refinement as well, because you want to try and make it a little bit refined, something you can't quite do at home.
Yeah.
So, but what we want to try to promote today is just to say you can get the duck hearts at the butchers.
Yeah.
You can make the crumpets easy. I want to promote all the vinegars that we're using and the textures.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So along with that umami taste, Matt, we've got some shiitake mushrooms.
Okay.
So just some shiitakes that we pan-fried.
Yep.
A little bit of stock to reduce, and we put some mirin, some rice wine vinegar, and a little bit of soy sauce in there with a little spice.
Right.
A little bit of Tabasco in there.
Nice. So there's lots of different layers. I mean, it feels a very French dish, and now you've got soy sauce going in there and stuff
We've
like
gone to Japan, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is that the sort of thing you do at Allworth?
Yeah, because, I mean, it adds so much flavour. It's all about the flavour. So something like the shiitakes are absolutely beautiful just on their own.
Yeah.
So if you are doing veganuary?
Yeah.
Veganuary?
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. If we are doing that, we would just put those on instead of the duck hearts.
And they've got that delicious kind of umami, meaty flavour as well.
Exactly, yeah. So just to finish this dish, all we're going to do is just take this lovely crumpet that we've just toasted, and you can see with the butter and the Marmite.
So you've just got a sort of smidgen of that umami.
Just a really small amount.
Don't forget, if you'd like to ask us a question this morning, give us a call now, 0330 123 1410. That's 0330 123 1410. Calls are charged at your standard network rate.
And then we're just going to add the lovely duck hearts. So you've got to cook these really, really quick and really, really fast. So on the restaurant menu, we actually just call this duck and crumpets.
Okay. And do people, do they love it? Are they a little bit sort of put off by the hearts or not?
Well, I think if you say to somebody duck and crumpets, they're going to think, oh, I'll have that.
Yeah.
I'm used to the duck. So we said to Warwick over there earlier, would you have duck and crumpets? Probably.
You'd eat duck and crumpets, right?
At a push, but you're saying you're not telling the truth then on your menu.
Well, we are.
Technically, it's duck.
It's still duck.
Technically, it's still duck.
I tell you what, though, if I was at your restaurant, I ordered that, I'd say, can you substitute the duck for nice jam?
I'll tell you what, I can do a duck jam. I can do a duck jam.
Or a bit of your honey.
So we've got here we've got smoked breast. We've got the cured duck ham.
Yeah.
And what's this funny little nugget?
So that's home cured and then dried out duck hearts. So it makes a duck heart jerky. So all I've added to these duck hearts, I've pan-fried them very, very quickly.
Yep.
Add a little bit of sherry vinegar to get that little tang on the plate. And then we've got some lovely gravy.
Okay.
Or demi-glace if you're from Henley-on-Thames, where we're from. So,
right.
So you're going to get a little spoon.
Grab a spoon. Everything's here.
This is the point where we go all chefy on you.
Do you need this?
No, that's all done now. Just going to slice these shiitakes up.
So if we just pop those on there. Did you actually get to try the cured ducks?
Yes, I tried it a lot.
It's amazing, isn't it?
In rehearsal.
So
it's delicious.
This cured duck is actually made down in Cornwall, and the smoked one is actually in Oxfordshire. So, yeah, it's quite cool.
And the cheese is quite special, isn't it? Cave aged?
Yeah, the cheese is amazing. So it's from a cheese called Innisbur, and then it's aged for a year, and it gets a really fudge texture. Yeah. But the flavour is absolutely amazing. I mean,
it smells.
The chefs in London at the moment using it on desserts. The chefs using it on starters.
I mean, it smells quite musty. It smells like my house.
You need to get a good air freshener, Matt.
It's an old house.
It just gives another dimension to this dish. So, as you can see, we've got the duck hearts, we've got the lovely shiitakes on top, a little bit of beurre cheese.
And you wanted that ham sliced very finely, so it kind of always melts in the heat.
Yeah, exactly. And you just get little snippets of it. And then just to finish, some lovely freshness from the lettuce. And then a little bit of texture. It's all about the texture.
That's delicious.
Some lovely breadcrumbs.
And then finish with...
Do you know what? That is my
jerky.
Perfect dish. It's gutsy, it's light.
Full of flavour.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remind us what it's called?
Duck on crumpets.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Nice one. OK. You ready for your first dish? Don't look so excited. Right.
It's very hearty.
Go on, you have to try some of the hearts.
Looks lovely, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, go on, tuck in.
Just pretend it's
Don't be shy.
Hang on.
I'm
It's
ready,
really
I'm ready.
keen to have some.
So, where would you get hold of duck hearts?
Well, this is the thing. It's so easy to get hold of in the supermarket. Oh, well, not supermarket, but butchers.
Butchers. Yeah, support the local butcher.
And they'll love you for it as well, because presumably they give it to the dogs or they throw them away or something like that.
Yeah, and it's just like eating duck breast, we think. You know, it's got a great texture.
You cook them really, really rare, don't you?
Yeah, it has to be.
Would you not try
The crumpet's lovely. Why have you ruined a very good crumpet with all of this other malarkey on? It's lovely, yeah, very good.
Simplicity is the best.
You've got a lot of textures, a lot of different flavours going on, and there's a lovely glass of wine there.
Thank you.
That'll definitely wash down one of them hearts.
I bet Anna will
well, I'm being very polite. I'm just waiting.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Is this paired with this dish?
It certainly is, Warwick, yeah.
How do you go about pairing wine with crumpets?
Well, that's a very good question. Normally at tea time, anything cold and fruity will be perfect. But this one here, a lot of people go for Pinot Noir with duck, but this one has got so much flavour in it, this dish. It's rich, it's powerful, it's gutsy, so I've gone for the Domaine de la Maynard Plan de Dieu, Côte d'Rhône Village, 2016 from the south of France. An amazing year. Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, hearty, winter warming. Glorious stuff.
That's really fruity, that is.
You love your wines. You're really big into wines.
Yeah, we love our wines, so...
low tannins, nice and fruity.
I saw a wine menu, and it said that this wine, it described it as tasting of hints of buttered toast.
Buttered toast?
Now, I had that wine because I love toast.
Yes.
and I was slightly disappointed because I spent the whole meal and I drank half a bottle trying to find buttered toast.
And there wasn't any in there. No, well, it can come from the oak barrels, that kind of flavour, or aroma more like. But yeah, to be honest, wine can pick up all sorts of flavours from everywhere. But this one is all about concentrated intensity. It's a brilliant blend of grapes, and I just think for actually what's in the bottle, it's a great price for that wine.
Delicious. Well,
delicious.
That would be even more lovely when it's try one of those hearts. Cheers. Very chilly in here. Right, I'm going to make you try a heart in this break. Remind us what you're cooking.
Oh, I'm doing a chocolate and tofu mousse with a vegan honeycomb.
Intriguing. Nice. Don't forget, if you want to ask us a question this morning, just call 0330 123 1410. That's 0330 123 1410. Lines close at 11 a.m. today. So you haven't got long, so get dialing. Or you can tweet us questions using the hashtag #SaturdayKitchen, and don't forget to vote for Warwick's Food Heaven or Hell on the website. So inspired by Rick's travels to Austria, I've got a great little dish here. It's full of kind of Austrian flavours, if you will. I'm doing a pot roast veal breast or belly. And I'm going to do a little Austrian cabbage dish. Very, very simple. So we've got the veal breast here. I'm going to season it up, get a nice colour on it, and then I'm going to slather, it's a good word, over some lard, which I'm very fond of at the moment. And then we're going to put it in the oven, and that's going to pick up a beautiful colour. Then I'll put the lid on and just braise it for sort of going on 3 hours, probably. And then I'm going to talk about the cabbage in just a bit. Right, let's get a bit of colour in there. So, Warwick.
Yes.
You're now producing.
I am. I have a producing hat on at the moment.
You've done it before, but this is your first musical, is that right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And I produced a play a few years ago with my company, the Reduced Height Theatre Company. And I enjoyed the experience, but I was also in the play, so trying to do the two things was quite challenging. So on this occasion, I've decided that I'll just stick to the producing side of things, because that keeps me busy.
Tell us about this show. It's Eugenius.
Yeah, it's called Eugenius. It's a brand new original musical, all original story, all original music. I was introduced to it by Ben Adams and Chris Wilkins, who wrote the show and the music a few years ago, and immediately fell in love with it, because for me, it kind of the spirit of it is really. It captures that brilliant sort of period in the 80s, the period that I grew up in. Yeah. Kind of the popular culture, the music, the sounds, the vibes of that brilliant decade.
If you go along and you didn't know it was set in the 80s, would you be able to tell through the music, by the dress, by everything?
Absolutely.
So you've got sort of cultural references?
Oh, loads of it in there. Loads of pop culture references to movies. Some of them I was in.
Do you know what I was watching a David Walliams thing the other day at Christmas, and he had a reference to Quattro.
Yeah, well, that was set in the 80s, wasn't it? It was Grandpa's Great Adventure.
That's genius.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. And there's loads of references like that in Eugenius, which is a lot of fun. But it's an original score as well, original music. You know, this is not a jukebox musical. Yeah. They're all original songs, but they are absolutely brilliant. And what Ben Adams has done with the music, he's used instruments and sounds that we don't use in music now, in this time because they were very much of the 80s.
Is it a bit Howard Jones?
Yeah, but big sounds as well. Right. You can't do big drums like that anymore. And in the theatre environment, it just sounds brilliant. I mean, it's a fantastic night out because we actually performed the show as a concert performance at the London Palladium.
Oh, really?
Last year. Just for one night only. I hired out the Palladium and thought, let's try this show out. Let's see if the concept works, and it is as good as I think it is.
Yeah.
And we sold out the Palladium, and it was a huge success. Hence, we're now at the other Palace from the 22nd of January to the 3rd of March.
OK, OK. Are you excited about it?
I'm very excited. I'm proud of the show. I'm proud of the cast, all the creative team I've put together. Yeah. But what's exciting for me is to kind of know that we're really going to entertain an audience, give people a good night out. Right. And I'll go in probably to see pretty much every show, and to sit there with an audience and watch the show and kind of feel the energy and excitement from them.
I bet that's fascinating.
It's really rewarding.
Go in the show and watch people's faces.
Well, I've done that with films that I've been in before, and it is terrifying because, you know, if the reactions aren't there that you think are going to be there, then it's a bit disheartening. But at the same time,
like
when the
cracking a
reactions
joke
are good,
and blank faces.
Yeah, exactly. Tough crowd. Yeah. It happens to you a lot, I guess.
Yeah, a bit. Anyway, off of that, let's get back to the food. So in here I've got some red onions, quite a lot of red onions, finely sliced. That's going to cause a lot of liquid to come out. Here I've got my veal. So
you've braised that. That means stick it in a pan and fry it.
I'm going to pot roast it.
Now you're going to roast it, but you had it in that pan just now.
So that was just getting a bit of colour, like this.
See.
So then I'm just slathering over.
Why lard, then?
A bit of lard.
That's old-fashioned, isn't it?
I like the flavour. OK. And also you're going to pick up a really nice colour. Right. As well. And organic lard is very good for you.
See, I don't think us sort of amateur chefs like myself think enough about the look of the food. We're all about the taste. You're going for... You said it twice now. You said it gives it a bit of colour, gives it a nice look.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you know, you as a chef, you're taught to, it's got to look good. You're eating with your eyes as well. Yeah. So that's kind of partly. I mean, it's kind of a brown dish, so let's not dwell on that. I've done more colourful dishes. And in here, so this is the Austrian cabbage. So I've got some pancetta, some butter, some garlic, a little bit of caraway, in with some onion, and just sweat that down for a couple of minutes. And over here, I've got some white cabbage, which has just been blanched, refreshed, so it's just sort of taken the edge off it. That's going to go in with some champagne vinegar. It's pretty much it. Bit of parsley, bit of tarragon.
That white cabbage there brings back memories from me being at school.
What, in a good way?
Well, they used to overcook this stuff, and it was horrendous. And we had to clean our plates at my school. It was you know, imperative you cleaned your plate. So, rather like the film The Great Escape, I used to smuggle cabbage into my pockets and then walk around the playground and scatter it.
I'd love to think you did
I got away with it. I did.
What a mess. Now, listen, tell us how you got into acting in the first place. It's quite a sweet story.
Well, I mean, I was just 11 years old and my grandmother heard a radio commercial in which they were looking for short people to be in the next Star Wars film. Right. And that was it, you know. I mean, that was my... I didn't know it at the time, but that would become my life and career, basically.
It was quite an amazing break, because you went along to the studio and the part was taken.
Yeah, I mean, there were no roles left, and they just said, well, are you a fan of Star Wars? And I went, yeah. And they said, do you want to play an Ewok? And I said, what's one of them? And they said, well, go down to the costume department and you'll get measured up and you'll find out.
But you weren't just any Ewok. You were the Ewok that
I played
first
Wicket,
came to the world's attention.
Yeah, it's the first one you see in the movie. And I only got that part because Kenny Baker, who was usually inside R2-D2, also played an Ewok. And on the day of filming that scene in particular, he got food poisoning. And,
didn't you buy him?
I didn't have any hand in that. I was only 11. I was very innocent back then. And he was ill, and they said, well, Warwick, will you come and play this scene? And I didn't know what that kind of meant then, the scale of that. I just said, oh, yeah, all right. And put the costume on, did the scene with Carrie Fisher, and it was an iconic scene. Indeed, yeah.
Because it was where she crashes off the speeder bike.
And she's unconscious, and an Ewok comes along and wakes her up, and they have a scene together.
And doesn't he prod her with a
wakes her up with a stick, and then he tries some food, and he's very nervous of her. And it came very naturally to me, this kind of performance, really.
But you were very young.
I was 11. I think it was me just being an 11-year-old boy in this costume. Yeah. being curious about stuff.
Yeah.
But they liked what they saw,
and you did have a very good relationship with Carrie Fisher, didn't you?
Oh,
There's a beautiful picture with you and her together, and you do. I mean, you look like a little 11-year-old boy, and she's really looking after you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She did. She worried about me being inside the hot Ewok costume as well. And when I took the head off, you know, obviously I looked a little bit hot and red in the face. She was there with chocolate milk and cookies to revive me. I sort of took advantage, though. I used to play it up a little bit more. Every time the head came off, I was a bit hotter than I was the last time. I mean, and
I could talk about Star Wars, but then obviously, then you for 10 years you've been in Harry Potter films as well. As many different characters.
Yeah, I played a few different characters. Notably Professor Flitwick, Phileas Flitwick, Teacher of Charms, Griphook the Goblin, who kind of double-crosses Harry in the last film, and the Goblin Bank Teller in the first film, and various other goblins and strange characters along the way.
And is that the way? Do you generally, for short actors, do they always get sort of multiple roles, would you say?
Not normally. I mean, it's just through the skill of the makeup department. They can discover, well, it's me sort of nagging the producers. Haven't you got anything else for me to do? And, but yeah, fortunately, the makeup department can make me look different enough to allow me to appear in the same film twice.
But it was very interesting, actually, because I was watching some clips last night, and the amount of prosthetics that you're wearing, it must be very difficult to give those slight kind of nuances in your face. I mean, if you're wearing all that makeup.
As Griphook, there's 4.5 hours worth of makeup. But then if you're working with a good makeup team, which I was on those films, fortunately, they'll design the makeups in such a way that you can perform through them. It's not limiting what I do, it kind of enhances what I do.
Right.
As an actor.
So you don't feel kind of
I don't feel restricted, but it's very uncomfortable. Very difficult with, you know, and Griphook as well, not only did it have this very heavy silicone makeup, it also had 23mm contact lenses and dentures as well, so to try and see anything and talk and give the performance was, it's more challenging than it would be to just act without anything else on.
Yeah,
well, not naked, but you know.
Sure. Right, so this dish is done.
Is it done? That was quick.
Thanks. I'm still going to get shouted at for being over, I tell you.
Are you? What are you drizzling now? That's
a little bit of olive oil, just because
you guys, you chefs, you love your olive oil as well. You put it on everything, don't you?
I know, it's tasty though, isn't it?
But is it the look or the taste? What are we going for?
Look, that looks nice. It's split, it's yellow,
it's split and yellow.
It's lovely. Anyway, try it. OK, so that's pretty much it. So the Austrian cabbage, just to recap, I had some pancetta in there, some garlic, there was the caraway, which gives it a really nice flavour, some onions, and obviously the blanched white cabbage, and then some champagne vinegar. And that's pretty much it. So it's kind of sharp and fatty at the same time.
It smells and looks absolutely amazing, but, you know, nice little glass of Austrian red with that, a little Blau Frankish, that would be delicious.
You're never off, are you?
Never quite. I'm just always thinking about it, always on it, always on it.
It's lovely. You cook the cabbage very well. I won't be pocketing this and scattering it outside the studio today. It's very nice.
I love that. Right, so what will I be making for Warwick at the end of the show? Will it be his food heaven, which is going to be a beef shin and blue cheese cobbler? So if so, I'm going to sear the beef shin and add butter, pancetta, onions, celery and herbs, pour over some beer and then cook the beef until it's soft. I'm then going to layer Stilton thyme scones on the top and then cook it for a bit longer. Finish with parsley. But if Warwick gets hell, I'm going to be making a fish pie with hard-boiled eggs. So I'm going to add poached haddock and salmon with anchovies, prawns and scallops to a roux. Put it in a pie dish and then scatter over hard-boiled eggs, top with mash and grate over some Edam cheese and bake until it's golden. Don't forget what he gets is down to you. You've got around 25 minutes left to vote for Warwick's heaven or hell, and it could go either way, obviously. So go to the Saturday Kitchen website now and have your say, and we're going to find out the results at the end of the show. All right?
Well done. Very good.
Thank you very much. Right, now, let's join the wonderful Most Omelette Challenge time. And Warwick, these puns are inspired by you and your illustrious career, but mainly Star Wars. So here we go. Chefs, can you add extras to your omelettes, but don't potter about because life's too short? Will Ryan's omelette be a rogue one? Or will Liam be a Phantom Menace and strike back? With a winning time. Good luck, chefs. May the forks be with you. That's why you watch. That's why you watch. Will Warwick get his food heaven, beef and blue cheese cobbler, or his food hell fish pie with hard-boiled eggs? Still tarts for you to vote on the website and find out the results later on. Right, let's get on with cooking. Enough of the puns. Come on, Anna.
Okay.
What are we doing?
We are going to make... I'm going to teach you how to make...
Yes, you are.
...a vegan chocolate mousse. Now, first of all, if you melt the chocolate, and I'm going to get the honeycomb on. So,
certainly.
The honeycomb is exactly the same as normal honeycomb, except it doesn't have any honey in it.
Okay.
So it's made with golden syrup. But it tastes just as good. It's just as delicious.
So tell us about this recipe. So when I first saw this, I thought this is quite new for you. I mean, especially the tofu.
Well, essentially, it is and it isn't. So when a person who's got a special dietary requirement comes into the restaurant, of course they take care of them. But it was just the other day I was inspired by a friend who'd made this recipe, and initially I started to tease her, and then as I listened to her, and she's a really good chef, I said, sure, I'll give it a go. And so her recipe was really, it was lovely. It was very simple. It was just tofu and chocolate, and then I thought maybe with a few other little bits and pieces this could be a bit more kind of special.
But all you've added is a bit of vanilla.
Vanilla, star anise, and the secret ingredient is treacle.
Okay.
Treacle is really good. So there's a kind of, well, I think there's like a licoricey flavour off treacle. So, get that up high. And I think star anise will complement that flavour, so it's really nice.
And it's the way food is going, isn't it, I think?
Well, for some people it is. So, I mean, you can't ignore it. You can't pretend. You can't open a restaurant and think you don't need to cater for people who are allergic to things or who choose not to eat it, which is, I feel, as important as the people who are allergic. People should be allowed to eat what they want.
Whatever they want.
So I'm going to puree the tofu next. Now, if your tofu is too cold, it will kind of make it kind of go a bit solid and stuff.
Okay, and this is silken tofu,
This is silken tofu, and I'm just going to give it like a tiny rinse just to get rid of the kind of water that it sits in. And gives it a lovely kind of rich, kind of good replacement to cream or to egg white. And
it is, I mean, the end result, without giving too much away, it's beautiful. It's nice and silky and smooth and velvety.
And rich, and it feels luxurious. Like, it feels like, you know, you're eating something special.
Right, chocolate's coming on. The caramel's nearly there. And you want these are your own apricots that we put in. These are preserved apricots. Yeah, I preserved them, a couple of months ago, in some star anise, some sugar, and a little bit of passion fruit. And this is quite a thing of yours, isn't it?
Yes,
the preserving
and I firmly believe in it. I think we waste so much food, and I know people talk about it, but I think some people at home might be a bit intimidated about pickling something or candying something, and you shouldn't, because I mean it's as easy as just boiling up a bit of sugar and putting fruit in. Yeah. Putting it in a jar, and make sure your jars are sterilised, and boiling them in a bit of water, and before you know it, that's good for months and months and months to come.
Well, I was going to say, especially this time of year when things are getting quite dull, you know, to have these summer fruits. That
Do you know what, Matt? Around. There we go. Same wavelength, you and I. That's exactly why I'm doing that fruit, because if I see another apple or pear, I think I'm going to lose my mind. So, you know, you want to use something kind of a bit interesting, and apricots now, because they're out of season, are not in the shops. Yeah. And it's just a lovely alternative, you know?
And these, this is something that you guys do in your, with your sustainable...
Yes, so when we have a big glut of something, we preserve like Anna does. We preserve, we pickle. It's so easy. I mean, we just do a 2-to-1 ratio for pickling. So 1 part vinegar, 2 parts water.
Okay.
Good one.
Works really well.
Ferment as well. So we do a brine. So things like cucumbers. We get loads of cucumbers.
Lovely.
Liam seems to go a bit crazy down the polytunnel with the cucumbers every year.
Well, that's the danger of growing your own stuff, isn't it? Yeah. You just get inundated with certain things.
How is that a danger? I think
it's not a danger. There was a bad choice of words.
And that's what I'm here for, to pick up on those things. So that's your honeycomb. I don't know if you noticed. You just bring it to about like over 142 degrees, and then quickly whisk in your bicarbonate. Well, being a chef,
you're
obviously,
good,
yes, I can do it. But because it takes a while to cool down, here's one I made earlier. Right. So we're ready to get onto our chocolate mousse. Let me just move the blender. Okay, so this is a really fast mousse, even though I'm taking out this fancy contraption.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Here.
You just want to be able to slowly add your tofu in. Nice hot chocolate mousse.
Right, let's turn this off. Juggling pans here.
Yes. Well, I've got to, you know, keep you busy. Okay, so your chocolate just goes into the bowl, and then we're going to slowly add in our tofu and then our other ingredients. Before you know it, you're going to have a delicious...
Now, the other thing you've been up to, you've been giving...
What have I been up to? What have I been up to? Remind me.
Well, I'm going to tell you now.
Remind me.
You've been giving very sort of inspirational speeches.
Oh, this is what? I went to an amazing chef kind of meeting called Food on the Edge in Ireland.
Yeah.
And,
in Galway, right?
In Galway, that's right. And it's where a load of incredibly talented people, chefs and front of house, get together. I don't know why they asked me.
You're an amazing chef.
We talk, well, thank you very much, Matt. Get together and talk about things that excite them about our industry and how we can improve it. What can we do to be better in our industry? And well, I decided to talk about mental health because I feel it's not really something we talk about that much, and we are having some issues, you know, like any kind of industry would have about, you know, the way people are behaving and how we can kind of address that. And it doesn't have to be complicated.
Well, I have to say, I watched it last night, and it was so passionate. And so many things resonated, I have to say. And it's things you take for granted within the industry and you think it's normal. And you step outside it, it's not. So you're absolutely right. It's things that need to be addressed. I think they're probably changing as well.
Things are changing, but I do think talking about anything improves.
It's going to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And encouraging the people who are changing it to keep doing those things.
Yeah.
So just slowly adding in this, nearly done now. Go on, add the rest of that in there.
Yeah, of course.
Anna, we've got some people on Twitter just asking about the chocolate. Is that vegan as well? Can you clarify the status?
Yeah, there's no milk solids in the chocolate. Yeah, that's correct. And nicely spotted, whoever spotted it. You know, devil's in the detail.
Now you also you've been judging young Irish Chef of the Year.
I was so delighted with
which you won.
Yes, years ago when I was like 17 years ago. I think I won it. And it's this amazing competition where it encourages young chefs to kind of, create food and compete against each other and, see who wins. The talent is just incredible.
Really?
Inspiring. Right, so this is done now, but really it would be so nice if you could, chill it for, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so you could do a bit of a...
So you stick it in over this ice bath?
Yes.
OK. Yeah, so I'll move this.
Yeah,
so this is what you do, and you chill it for how long?
I'd say probably about 30 minutes or so. You'd probably want to chill it for on the ice, and it would be fine.
OK.
But look at it; it just looks delicious.
Why do you do it on the ice and not in the refrigerator?
Well, because you don't want to let it kind of get too cold and set completely. You want to kind of be able to control it a little bit.
OK.
But yeah, if you didn't have the ice, you could easily put it in the fridge, but you just need to go back and check it a bit.
OK, and don't forget, if you want to cook any of this that you've seen today, all the recipes are on the website, bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen.
OK, let's break this bad boy.
That's quite satisfying. Sorry. now I've got to wash my hands.
Yeah, so honestly, I would challenge anybody to tell me that this isn't tasty vegan honeycomb. A little bit of almond here, which I think goes really well with your chocolate.
You can't taste the difference.
Well,
without the honey. There's no difference at all.
I think it's as good as, but maybe we should do a little taste off sometime.
What, just eat loads of honeycomb?
Yes. OK, so we have our chocolate mousse, a little bit more honeycomb, and it is on your almonds.
Here.
Oh.
Little spoon.
Whew.
Yeah, what's that? They're quite hot.
Yes, nice hot burning caramel on my fingertips. Thank you for that, Matt.
Sorry.
OK, and there we have it. We have tofu and chocolate mousse with vegan honeycomb.
Delicious. Right. OK.
Oh, yes, now we're talking.
Oh, now you mean business.
Watching the gentleman.
We've just held a heart for you.
Come on then, tuck in. Nobody's giving me a spoon.
Yeah.
Well, everybody wants a bit of this one, don't they? Look at that. Lovely textures, lovely colours here
Savage,
as well.
innit?
I'm eating it with my eyes initially, but the mouth will get involved.
A lot of
the way that you've done that with the soy. It's amazing.
Yeah, well,
definitely going to steal this.
The treacle for me is the secret ingredient. The treacle is so good because any of the feeling you might get from tofu, the treacle kind of just relaxes all of that and gives it a more kind of depth flavour.
That's amazing.
Is this a dessert wine?
It is a dessert wine. What I have here is a Muscat de Saint-Jean of Menevois from Les Jardiniers from Sainsbury's. Total bargain at £5. Nice and sweet and light. Lovely with the dish. It's kind of like liquid orange blossom with a honey tint, really. It's gorgeous.
Yes, delicious.
Delicious stuff.
I love it. It's good, isn't it?
Great value for money.
That's not in the honey.
That hot and cold combination as well. Really good.
Yeah, that's delicious. How is that?
Very good indeed. What, the wine or the...
Both of it.
Very good, that's good. This is almost a bit liqueur-y.
Yeah, they fortify it, so it does have that strength, and that's what stops the fermentation, keeps the sweetness in the wine. Lovely stuff.
Very clever, very delicious.
Thank you.
Well done, you. That's it. The Heaven and Hell vote is now closed, and Warwick's fate is sealed. We're going to reveal the results at the end of the show. Right, let's take some calls from our viewers. First up, we've got Perry from the Dordogne in France. How exotic. What's your question?
My question is, I want a different recipe for pigeon or wood pigeon.
OK. Pigeon. Who wants to go with that? Go for it.
Cool. So with the pigeon, whip the breasts off the bone, pan fry it very quickly, let it rest, and then serve it with some pickled walnuts, some fresh walnuts, a little bit of beetroot. Job done.
Nice.
Lovely.
Yeah. Nice and simple. Right, Warwick, we got a couple of tweets.
We have indeed. First one from Victoria Jones. I've got some lamb sweetbreads from the butcher's. What's the best way to prepare them?
Do you know what they are, Warwick?
I'll take that one.
It's part of a lamb.
You'd love them.
Right, you'd love them. OK, Anna, what do you do?
OK, so the tricky thing about lamb sweetbreads is that they're small. Veal sweetbreads are big, so it's harder to get this membrane off them. So you need to blanch them in a pan of boiling water for about 60 seconds, and then into iced water you can peel them off. And then after that you can do what you want. So you can caramelise them in a pan with a bit of butter and a bit of balsamic, or you could put some breadcrumbs on them and fry them. Like, you could do anything you want after that, but it's just getting that little membrane off them is tricky, and it goes very well with something a bit acidic, like a balsamic vinegar dressing.
Sounds like a lot of effort, Victoria, I would Another tweet here from Richard Cleverley. Any half-decent non-alcoholic red wines out there for someone who can't drink for health reasons?
That's a very good question, Richard. I'd love to say that there are, but I've yet to find a really great one, to be honest. But there is a homemade recipe you can do. Black tea, you warm it through, add some pomegranate juice. You could add some citrus peel in there as well, maybe a bit of cinnamon. Let it cool, put it in the fridge, then serve it with a little splash of sparkling water. It's a ringer, and it's delicious.
Wow. Very nice, Ollie.
Sounds lovely.
Very nice. Not just a pretty face. Right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Andrew from Edinburgh. What's your question, Andrew?
Hello, I'm looking for a recipe that's a little bit different or interesting with leeks.
OK.
Leeks?
Yep.
Yeah, so leek, a lot of people do like leek and potato soup, so let's get away from that. So what I like to do is take my leek, cut the roots off, cut the top off, and you got this white bit, the centre bit. So you want to blanch that in some boiling water, plenty of salt in there for about 2 to 3 minutes. Take it out, drain it, in a pan, a little bit of butter, and you want to get them butter roasting, so we're kind of like roasting the leek within the pan. At the side, make yourself a little blue cheese dressing, serve it maybe with like some whole almonds or some flaked almonds, a little bit of salad on there, and then just finish with a little bit of rapeseed oil, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Very nice. Nice recipe, that. Right, thanks to everyone who called and tweeted today. Omelette challenge time. Now, Anna, you're already on the board. You're up here in the pan.
In the frying
Respectable
pan.
time. We thought it'd be fun to pitch these two together.
Very fun.
Anyway, whether it's good for their marriage, I don't know.
I think it's going to cause problems, huh?
So, boys, just so you know, the aim is to make fast, edible 3-egg omelettes that are good enough to feed our hungry crew. If not, they're going to go into the compost bin. So your time's going to stop when the omelettes hit the plates. Let's put the clocks on the screens, please. Are you both ready?
We are.
3, 2, 1, go! What are you doing one-handed for? Stop showing off.
Very impressive egg cracking, I like that.
When you're actually making a proper omelette. Are you both quite competitive at home?
Yeah.
We're naturally competitive. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
I don't know, you've been practicing?
No.
Really?
I think one of them has.
Who makes the best omelettes then at home?
They are rich in France.
Well, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you make great omelettes. You can speak French, though.
There's a shell in there.
OK. Come on, Liam.
I know.
Come on, Liam.
I'm coming.
Oh. Nice. Oh. Very good, boys. Right. I'll use that. OK, let's go here first.
Remember that tenner before, yeah?
Is that, what's that? Is that black from the pan, or is that
like a bit of
seasoning?
No, that's a little bit of...
You can't do it now.
No cheese.
Yeah, nice.
Quite bulky.
A lot of people say that about Ryan's omelettes.
What,
salty? Ryan?
That's a bit of gamesmanship. Right?
Salt as flavour, and it's your friend.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Right. Okay,
so no
both edible, both delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have to say. Right,
Well done.
Liam, you got...
I want to beat Anna.
46.92.
Yes!
I demand a recount.
Right, you're...
Put me in the pan.
You're in there somewhere.
Yes.
I can't fit in there.
Stick in there.
Yeah, he has.
Stick it there. Ryan.
With that.
43.
Ooh, nice.
2-4. Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Where's Rosie? Rosie's going. Sorry,
I'll
Rosie.
remind Brynna that.
Right, let's stick you down here somewhere.
That's not me. Do you think that's me?
And then that's where...
That is not Anna. That is another woman.
What? That's Rosie. That's Rosie. Rosie, that's not you.
No, it's not me. Leave me in the van.
It's very complicated, this. Anyway, well done, boys. So will Warwick get his food heaven beef shin and blue cheese cobbler or his food hell fish pie? We're going to... Time to find out whether Warwick is getting his food heaven or his food hell. So, your food heaven was this. Shin of beef, blue cheese, cobbler. Lovely. All nice things you like. That's your food hell. Fish pie and eggs.
Not great.
What do you think you got?
Well, I'm hoping that the viewers have been kind to me and given me this delicious selection, but I have a feeling they may have gone
Last time you came on, you got hell, didn't you?
I got my hell, yeah. People enjoy seeing me, you know, making unpleasant faces.
Well, as long as you accept that, I can tell you that 65% of the viewers went for heaven. Very well done. Haven't got it this time.
You.
Right,
65%, that's not bad, is it?
I know, they're loving you out there.
There's 35% of you are sickos, basically.
That bodes well for ticket sales.
Indeed it does, yes.
Right, so this is shin of beef, OK? That's what it looks like originally. Off the bone.
I didn't need to see that.
Very, very sinewy, very tough piece of meat, but after long, slow cooking, breaks down to a beautiful, beautiful tender piece. So we're just going to cut it down. This is quite an old school. This is based on a kind of beef carbonade. So it's made with Belgian beer, Ollie. That was pure coincidence.
Yeah, I was there this week and staying with the Monks Brewing, and some of those beers are tremendous. A double beer, I think they're using in this, the Westmalle. Really rich. It's a bit like drinking liquid malt loaf. It's unbelievably good. I could have paired it with the dish, but Matt told me earlier it would be lazy.
Yes, it would.
But I think it would be a lovely thing to have that beer with this dish.
Anna, could you pass me that flour, please?
Yes, absolutely. So is this going to be the same situation
one of
where
those bowls,
Warwick thought he was going to be drinking hot buttered toasted?
Yeah, he's going to be drinking wine. But Warwick, you've had the most extraordinary diverse career. It's I mean, my family, by the way, are delighted that you've been cast as Sniff in Moomin Valley.
Oh, yes.
They're huge Moomin fans. But I was going to ask, over the years, you've seen so many...
Sorry?
He's doing the voiceover of a big
That's not on my notes.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I only know this because a mate of mine's written the scripts. But actually, over the years, I want to know how things have changed in the industry, and particular with reference to the catering. Has it got any better?
Well, you know, I started my career working on sort of American films in America, where you have something called craft service. So food is on offer all day long for the cast and crew. And that was something we didn't have in this country. So initially in this country, in the 80s, it was sort of tea and a cheese roll at 11 o'clock and a donut. And then 1 o'clock was lunchtime, and then tea time again, cup of tea and something else about 4 o'clock. But now the craft service kind of ideas come over to this country. So
is it really?
There's food all day. There's a sort of street kitchen you can go to in the studios. It's incredible, because they figured out an army marches on its stomach, you know, and a crew, if you feed them well, they produce good work.
Would you say it's got healthier or just kind of more choice?
There's more choice, but there's also, there's healthy options, but then you can have a sponge and custard for dessert and then fall asleep all afternoon. It's not great when you're on camera.
So let's talk about one of my favourite, Life's Too Short.
Life's Too Short, yeah.
I mean, that is, it's proper kind of Ricky Gervais, kind of a little bit cringy in some of the stories.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that was based on real-life experiences that I'd had. That me and Ricky and Stephen would talk about, and then they would write the scene up.
Right.
And obviously add their brilliant comic genius to it, but, instances such as, when I go shopping, unless it's a busy supermarket, I can't always reach everything. And for a lot of my life, I've spent, you know, mainly having a diet of what's on the lower shelves because, you know, the rest of it's out of reach. But then I figured out if I get, you know, a mop handle, I could actually, you know, knock off the things that are on the
That's
high
actually
shelves.
true.
Yeah, that's actually
You used to walk around with a mop, but did you get told off?
Exactly. No, I never did, but that's why Ricky and Stephen added the security guard getting annoyed and all of that sort of thing and saying I needed to buy the mop or bring my own mop to the supermarket. So that sort of instance. I mean, being photographed as well, you know, we had a scene in there where a lady photographs me moving into my new apartment, and I think it's because, you know, she's recognised me as a well-known actor, but it's just because I'm a short person and she thinks it'll be funny.
And
now,
that's true.
That's a very... It brings up a very serious issue, you know, at the moment, with social media and things. People do think that they can take pictures of anybody they like and post it, and it's not acceptable. And, you know, some countries have laws about these things. We don't currently in this country, but I think we should. You know, people should have to give permission to be photographed. I don't mind people taking a picture of me because they recognise me and want a selfie or whatever, but it's a lot of other people with dwarfism in the country who are photographed who, you know, they find it very, very difficult, especially when it's mocked on social media, etc. So, yeah, we need to get on top of that sort of thing. But that was another thing that we brought to Life's Too Short, and sometimes trying to raise awareness and raise issues, you know, as well.
I mean, that is a fantastic point, because now everyone's got a camera.
Yeah.
It's very easy for people just to keep sort of snapping it.
Oh,
I personally don't get it, as in it doesn't happen to me.
But people don't want an autograph anymore from a celebrity. They want a selfie to say, look what happened to me today. And it's got that bonkers, you know. If I'm driving on the motorway, people will be in the car next to me. Yeah. They'll drive alongside, you know, going at 70.
Do you know what?
And they'll take a picture.
That happened to me the other
It's
day.
so
Took a
bizarre.
mobile selfie of Matt Tebbutt.
No, in a really nice car. Anyway, that's another story.
Really nice guy,
Yeah.
You bring up a brilliant point though, because now everybody's a kind of a reporter. It's considered that the vernacular is you can just take a snap and you own it. But I take your point. I think, you know, there is a discussion to be had about actually where is the line?
There is a line there.
There is a line,
and it shouldn't be crossed, you know, and there should be permission granted, you know, especially if you're not somebody in the public eye.
Correct, yeah.
You know, I think those people need to have their privacy.
That's the key to it, I think, yeah.
Right, can I just recap?
Yes, let's see.
If anyone was looking at this. So in here, so I seared off the beef very, very quickly, in with some pancetta, just colour that down, get a bit of flavour out of that. In with some onions, some celery. I put a little gastric in there, which is a little bit of brown sugar and red wine vinegar. That's going to give it a nice kind of sweet sour element. Yes. Then, yes.
I love the way you describe it. It's almost better than the finished product.
Eat my words.
I'll take that.
Matt Tebbutt.
So back in with the beef. This is the Belgian beer. And that is going to give it a real kind of gutsy... I mean, you could chuck in red wine. I mean, that's kind of, you know, a bit more sort of standard. But this beer is good.
Have you got a book out, by the way?
No, I haven't.
Eat My Words.
Eat My Words.
Would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Eat My Words.
Eat My Words. The Matt Tebbutt story.
Yeah, don't bother cooking.
I mean, you know,
that's like an autobiography.
I will happily
nobody needs to read that.
I will happily ghostwrite it for you and make a lot of it up.
Right, OK, so that's ready. So that goes in the oven, lid on. It goes into the oven for about 2 hours-ish, till it's tender.
2 hours-ish?
Ish.
What, will you prod it later
Recipes on the website.
Oh, OK.
OK, so then about sort of 25, 30 minutes towards the end, you bring it out, and you see those scones there in front of you.
Did you make these?
That these boys...
They just made them.
You just made them?
Lovingly made. Do you want to talk us through these?
Nice and easy, so just a bit of flour, a bit of butter, breadcrumbing together. Add your salt, add a bit of milk, blue cheese, a little bit of thyme for flavour, and that's it. So basically it's a savoury scone.
Just raw, like that?
Just raw. Yeah, it'll go on top, and as it cooks for the last, like, 20 minutes, as it might.
About 25 minutes.
And then you put... It's like a dumpling kind of idea.
You said you like dumplings.
Ooh. Is it like in America they have chicken and biscuits? Is it similar to the biscuits?
Gravy.
Yeah.
That's
so this is your kind of the sustenance, and this is what sort of bulks out the dish.
And absorbs all the juicy deliciousness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be the name of my book.
Juicy deliciousness.
Now we're eating your words as well.
Right, let's have a bit of the juice. So all those onions are kind of melted.
Smells amazing.
Down.
Glad you got heaven.
And then just a little bit of parsley, Anna. Just make it look green and pretty and less brown.
I've had this with a side of peas.
Would you?
Yeah, I
like a side of peas?
I love a garden.
Here,
I love a petit pois.
Shall I get you? Shall I get some cutlery? So you don't have to eat with your hands.
I've eaten with my eyes already, but let's have a try of this.
So try that. Ollie, what are we drinking?
Well, do you know what? With this kind of dish, nice and hearty, the Reds of Portugal are amazing. And I've chosen, this is called the Herdade de Gambia from $7.99 in Majestic. It's a blend of local Portuguese grape varieties. You've got Touriga Nacional in there, Aragonés. You've got Syrah as well. It's one of those wines that if you're a fan of, for example, Spanish Riocas, this is like that, but it's kind of amped up to 11. It's beautiful.
Right.
And also it's got a bit of goodness for the wildlife as well, because they give back a little bit to the birds in the Seyteval Peninsula, where the vineyards are.
How is it, Chief?
It's really good.
Is it banging?
Thank you, everyone at home. That is delicious. The little scone things are terrific.
Can you taste the blue cheese? It's quite subtle.
Everything comes together. It's not too strong. Yeah. Gorgeous, comforting. Just a lovely, lovely dish.
Good.
Lovely, and the wine here. Do you pair wine with everything, like cornflakes, for example?
Well, I have paired wines with movies. I've tried pairing wines with movies. Smoky Reds with, like, Predator and war films and stuff like that, yeah.
What would you do with a Star Wars movie?
With a Star Wars movie?
That's nonsense.
It's true, it works.
I can't believe you can do that.
You know what, I'd just do something effervescent and beautiful, you know, so you can drink the stars.
What would you pair with a new musical opening at the other Palace on the 22nd of January?
The best wine in the world.
Would you?
I would.
Thank you very much.
Right, just remind us, Eugenius, when is it on?
22nd of January at the other Palace in London. Tickets on sale via eugeniusthemusical.com or your favourite ticket agent.
Excellent. Could you compare wine with that?
I'd be delighted. Yeah, we'll go for an English sparkling wine. Why not? Homegrown production.
We should go.
I like what you did there.
Can we sit in the audience with a bottle?
With a great bottle of English sparkling wine. I'll tell you what, if you invite us, I'll bring a massive bottle of English sparkling wine and we'll open it on the night and all
share it amongst the whole audience.
I could probably stretch to 2 of them. Maybe a handful of them. Yeah, basically, Matt and I.
Maybe.
Yeah, done.
Just as
Thank you, guys. Great morning. That's all from us today on Saturday Kitchen Live. Thanks to all our studio guests, Liam, Ryan, Anna, Ollie, and, of course, Warwick. All the recipes from the show are on the website, bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. And don't forget, more Best Bites with me tomorrow at 10 a.m. on BBC 2. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.